on this 2010 through 2017 Honda Accord with the 2. For gas engine, P0532 points to the A/C pressure sensor circuit reading low. In plain language, the PCM may be seeing the A/C pressure signal lower than expected. The customer may notice the A/C not operating normally, or the fault may show up mostly as a stored or pending code. Broadly, this can involve the pressure sensor signal circuit, the sensor power or ground side, connector issues at the sensor or PCM, or in some cases PCM software or PCM evaluation. Before getting into the checks, save the captured operating data and any onboard snapshot. Then review the basic troubleshooting information so you know whether this is a current fault or an intermittent one. Start with the basic system checks, then try to duplicate the fault. Start the engine and let it idle. Turn the blower switch on, then turn the A/C switch on. With the HDS, watch the A/C pressure sensor parameter. For this check, the low voltage threshold is less than 0.24 V. If the current reading matches that threshold, the fault is duplicated and you move on to isolating the circuit. If it does not match the threshold, treat it as an intermittent at this time. The system is okay right now, so concentrate on poor connections or loose terminals at the A/C pressure sensor and at the PCM. Next, determine whether the low reading stays with the sensor disconnected. Turn the ignition switch to lock 0, or use the engine start/stop button to select OFF mode. Disconnect the A/C pressure sensor 3P connector. Then turn the ignition switch to on Roman 2 or select on mode, and check the A/C pressure sensor parameter again with the HDS. The threshold is still less than 0.24 V. If it still matches that low threshold with the sensor unplugged, go to the PD sensor short check. If it no longer matches the threshold, move to the sensor power and ground voltage check. With the ignition in on Roman 2 or on mode and the A/C pressure sensor 3P connector still disconnected, measure voltage between connector No. 1. The BLU wire and connector No. 3. The BRN wire. This is the VCC6 and SG6 check. You are looking for about 5.0 V. If about 5.0 V is present, the circuit feed and return for this check are there, and the diagnostic path calls for replacing the A/C pressure sensor, then verifying the repair. If about 5.0 V is not present, continue to the VCC6 open wire check. For the VCC6 open wire check, turn the ignition switch to lock 0 or select OFF mode. Jump the SCS line with the HDS, then disconnect PCM connector A, the 51P connector. With the A/C pressure sensor 3P connector still disconnected and PCM connector disconnected, check continuity on the VCC6 circuit between A/C pressure sensor connector No. 3. The BRN wire and PCM connector No. 29 also BRN. If there is continuity, the VCC6 wire is okay. At that point, update the PCM if it does not have the latest software, or substitute a known good PCM, then verify the repair. If there is no continuity, repair the open in the VCC6 wire between PCM A29 and the A/C pressure sensor, then verify the repair. If the earlier unplugged sensor check sent you to the PD sensor line, keep the ignition in lock 0 or OFF mode, jump the SCS line with the HDS, and disconnect PCM connector A, the 51P connector. With the A/C pressure sensor 3P connector disconnected and PCM connector disconnected, check continuity between A/C pressure sensor connector No. 2. The RED wire and body ground. If there is continuity, repair the short in the PD sensor wire between PCM A41 and the A/C pressure sensor, then verify the repair. If there is no continuity, the PD sensor wire is okay. Update the PCM if it does not have the latest software, or substitute a known good PCM, then verify the repair. Keep verification separate from the circuit testing. Turn the ignition switch to lock 0 or select OFF mode. Reconnect all connectors. Exit SCS mode with the HDS. Turn the ignition switch to on Roman 2 or select on mode. Reset the PCM with the HDS, then do the PCM idle learn procedure. Start the engine and let it idle. Turn the blower switch on, turn the A/C switch on, and check for pending or confirmed DTCs with the HDS. If P0532 is indicated again, check for poor connections or loose terminals at the A/C pressure sensor and the PCM. If the PCM was substituted, return to the beginning of the diagnostic path. The return point after an updated PCM is unclear here, so pause, recheck the earlier diagnostic path, and avoid guessing. If P0532 is not indicated, troubleshooting for this code is complete. If a known good PCM was substituted and the code is gone, replace the original PCM. If other pending or confirmed codes are present, check what they mean first and handle those separately. The key on P0532 is to prove whether the low A/C pressure sensor signal is current. Then separate a sensor issue from a VCC6 open, a PD sensor short, connector trouble, or the PCM side of the circuit. Follow the checks in order, verify the repair, and do not jump past an intermittent connection. For more diagnostic training, visit Diagnostics.com.